The dream started with an unanswered question about what it would look like to have a perfect boat for me and my family, and one that I can sail with as much convenience and pleasure, combined with the idea of very strong aesthetical sort of statements. There's a huge choice in the world of fabulous boats to choose from. Bizarrely, the conjunction between a very reliable, very well engineered machine and something incredibly beautiful that everyone recognized as an instant classic. There didn't seem to be anything that I set my eyes on that would do it for me. And so we started thinking collectively about what would be, what that would look like, this dream from an engineering, from an aesthetic, from an ergonomics perspective, if we would try to combine these things. The start of the process of this project was a conversation during lockdown times with Rebirth, one of the co-founders, and I got in touch with them and explained over video what it is that I was looking for. It was a good first conversation, and I thought it's going to be a very quick one, because either they try to sell me something that they've already done, and that will be the end of that exchange, or it will take an interest in what I'm looking for. And of course, he was the latter. Abed understood exactly what he was looking for. I think himself, I gather, was looking for a project that would bring engineering of the highest quality, craft, unbelievable craft that he's bringing with his team, but a certain vision as well, and a certain courage. Because what we're doing here is attacking icons of maritime heritage, not just any boat we're taking. It's a boat that is very well known. And therefore I thought it's such a fine line. I'm either going to find somebody I can work with or not. And it was, and of course it worked. It worked very well. There were great moments of doubt. My own anxiety was around the iconic status of the boat.
Je wilt de vloeren laten doorlopen, je wil overal vlakken open zijn. Dus we houden de kastboek compleet leeg. Schotten gaan eruit, helemaal strikken van binnen. Cockpit samen eruit. Een deel van de opbouw, een deel van het dak is weggezaagd. En op dat moment hadden we een leeg schip. En dan kun je pas beginnen met een goede intake.
And I thought, what right do I have to go and mess up with a boat that is very well known for having been a resounding success, but that was incredibly beautiful, yet could take you and your family and your crew around the world in very safe conditions, and had lasted all this time, because most of the boats, the Swan 48s, are still happily sailing and in existence, very well looked after by their very proud owners.
En dat was voor Raak ook wel op het punt dat hij zegt van ja, je ziet een helemaal compleet leeggestript casco liggen. Zonder cockpit, zonder opbouw. Ja, wat ben ik al begonnen, zei hij ook. Hij zei, hebben we dit wel moeten doen zo? Ik zei, ja, weet je, dit is nodig. Dit is de enige manier om te komen tot wat je wil. En dat is ook wel gebleken uiteindelijk. Maar het is wel een hele grote stap. Je koopt een schip die eigenlijk gewoon er goed uitziet, waar je nog al jaren mee kunt zeilen. En ja, komt een werf in Friesland, die zet een zager in.
I think those boats are made to sail. Then everyone has a chance to be fully bodily able and to have an 8 crew at their disposal all the time. And if one thing we achieve with Younique is to put this boat back on the water and get it to sail most days, then I think that will put all my concerns to rest. I felt that the level of craft that the boatyard was displaying were the best I'd ever come across. And I mean by that the attention to details, the quality of the engineering, the personal pride that they take in finding solutions, an attitude of where everything's possible and solutions are going to be found, as opposed to sticking to the boulevards of what they've done already. And I sensed in them, as I said, the same, if not frustration, the same curiosity to wonder why nobody had gone and done what we were planning to do. And it takes people who are incredibly competent and a bit mad to try to give their own vision of what it's going to be like. And it's just you don't find that easily. So I think there was a real fit in where we came from and what we wanted to do that I hadn't come across anywhere. Part of what the Younique let me do, I think by character and by design, was to get involved as much as I could. So you can imagine how interesting it can be for certain characters to get involved in the building of a house or a car, but a boat is at another level of emotion attached to that. And after all these years, we've also become, I think, very good friends for being able to just to have the luck of work on something like this together. Part of the exercise both in engineering and aesthetics was paralleled by an exercise in the ergonomics of the boat. I really wondered, how do you move around when you're at the helm? Can you access most of the commands within arm's reach? If you have to move quickly around the boat, are all the surfaces at the same level, or are you going to trip? And if you want to put all the surfaces at the same level on a boat where none of the floorboards and none of the decks and bridges were at the same level to start with, that's a holistic vision of engineering and design. One of the things that I did not expect and that was incredibly valuable in my experience with Younique was the fact that I have a visual brain. I can look at 2D plans, 3D plans and make them out, but at some point you don't know whether it's going to work until you walk on it and bounce on it. And I would go to the yard in the middle of the winter, and I would have they would have built up a mock-up of the cockpit, or a mock-up of the interior out of plywood, and one goes around, test it. Some solutions work, some don't. I thought again that participates. I think I talked about madness before, a certain curiosity and a certain ambition about the boat looks like, but there's also a certain humility and modesty about understanding that your clients, not necessarily the athlete they wanted to be or they once were, and I think that to find the same interest, curiosity, and attention in that aspect of the design that it is in the fact that the boat goes fast or looks good. Again, I think that's a very rare skill that that Younique Yachts displayed for me. Working with Younique Yachts is an interesting, interactive, mutually enriching sort of method and project and experience. It is one in which the owner's thoughts and vision and curiosity and constraints feed into the process as part of a sort of virtuous loop all the time. That means that their own solutions integrate those constraints, integrate this vision, and come out on the other side, always being slightly enriched and amended by the owner's thoughts, and of course vice versa.
Wat we wel heel belangrijk vinden bij projecten zoals dit, dus die echte one-offs, is dat de klant betrokken is. Als de klant dat niet wil en niet de tijd ervoor neemt om zijn product naar zijn hand te willen zetten, ja, dan werkt het vaak niet in dit soort projecten.
And so we used to have weekly calls. I would be at the yard, once a month, and we'd exchange a lot of emails, lots of pictures, lots of videos, lots of plans, lots of sketches.
RAF die heeft in een vroeg stadium zijn vertrouwen geuit naar ons bedrijf. En dat vertrouwen ook gedurende het project gehouden. En ook echt de tijd ervoor willen nemen om een uniek product te maken, een uniek jacht te bouwen.
And it feels like working with your own team that is dedicated to making your vision or your dream happen, with individuals who are incredibly good at what they do and listen and find a way to share their own process, their own constraints, which is an amazing experience.
Wij zeggen vaak ook, we hopen dat een klant onderdeel wordt van ons team. Dus ook echt zo erg betrokken is als wij dat zelf ook zijn bij dit soort producten.
I'm reminded sometimes that if you buy an exceptional machine in the world, in other fields than the naval architecture, and if you're an exceptionally good client, they'll sometimes let you into how those machines are actually made. That becomes the ultimate prize, is to be brought in and say, this is how we create this car, or create this watch, or we create this, whatever it is you take an interest in. I don't think they listen to you on creating and suggesting amendments or a different solution, but just give you a peek in. And working with Younique is not only do you get a peek in, not only do you get to know every single person who has been working on your boat, so much so that it feels like living your friends and family when the project is over. But the project gets fed and out of your own ideas, and whereby they try to make the best out of their own experience and engineering skills, with the fact they're going to create something just for you. So one question I get from friends is whether this experience was worth the money. And I'm reminded of similar questions one gets after, if like me, you live in London, you may get into the habit of going to finding your own tailor. And then a tailor takes your measurements. And then you may have 2 or 3 sessions in order for that to work. And then the tailor knows your morphology, they know what you like, you discuss cloth. It's a very long process. It can take a month. Can you walk into one of the large, famous top-end brand and get a suit right away? You probably can. I don't think the experience is quite the same. And I have no doubt you can go to many excellent boat yards in the world and get something very close to what we achieve with Younique Yachts. And that to the untrained eye, it would look like it might have been a better deal. But I've also no doubts that once you've actually paid attention to the way Younique crafts a boat for you, everything else in the harbor looks just a little lacking. If I was putting Younique today in competition with other boat yards to achieve the similar result that we've achieved together, I would have a hard time coming up with names to compete with them. This is the boat I've always wanted. This is the boat of my dreams, and she's now sailing. She's beautiful. She's a beauty to handle at the helm, and all this, certainly all this extraordinary time we spent on it together made sense.